Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on another episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. I'm your host, founder of Voices for Voices, Justin Allen Hayes. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode, as well as our over 300 episodes where we cover topics from human trafficking survivors to keeping people safe at home from abuse, of being taken from just really awful situations, and we want to just help people. And the gentleman that we have on our show today, not only are we going to be lucky enough to ask him a couple questions, but we're going to be presenting him with our 2025 Voices for Voices Voice of the Year because of his patriotism, supporting the strength at the border for Americans, human trafficking survivors, prosecuting them, uh, as well as the Take It Down Act, which is now the Take It Down law. And you may know, if you have watched any of our or listened to any of our episodes, we have had Ms. Elliston Berry on, where she shared her story about basically showing up to school one day, and whispers were going on, and she wasn't sure what was happening, and found that somebody in her hometown at her school in Laredo, Texas, went and used an AI program and turned a couple of her uh, innocent photos into what we call like these deepfake nude photos. And uh, it is so powerful to hear her story, and she's not the only one that this has happened to. There are many others across the country, and that's part of the big reason why we want to welcome Senator Ted Cruz from the great state of Texas to the show.
Well, Justin, thank you very much, and thank you for your leadership. Thank you for speaking out. Thank you for using your voice, using your time, using your energy to number one, fight for victims, but number two, to fight to hold violators accountable. This is, uh, we have seen on the Take It Down Act, we've
Yep.
seen an explosion of non-consensual intimate images. Roughly 95% of the non-consensual intimate images online are targeting women or teenage girls,
Wow.
and it's both real, uh, so-called revenge porn. Sometimes you have two people in a consensual relationship, the relationship goes sour, and one or the other decides, okay, I'm gonna get back at my former partner and put out either explicit pictures or explicit videos. I think that's a grotesque
Oh,
violation of privacy. Nobody has the right to do that to somebody else.
that's so true.
And then, as you noted, the more recent incarnation of this is using AI to create deep fakes. It used to be if you Photoshop someone's head on a body, it looked pretty fake from the get go. Now it is not difficult at all to create deep fakes that nobody can tell are not real images. And Ellison, as you've noted, I've gotten to know her well. She's a 15-year-old girl, lives in North Texas in Aledo, and what happened to her and her mom Anna, uh, she woke up one morning and her friends were texting her these pictures that had been sent all around her school. She was a freshman in high school. Look, I'm the father of two teenage girls. It is hard to be a teenager. It's really hard to be a teenage girl right now. But if you can imagine all of your friends in ninth grade believing they're looking at naked pictures of you,
Mm.
I mean that, and she was in tears, she was crushed. But the maddening thing is there was no consequence. It was not against any law. It was not considered child pornography. If you send
Mm.
around pictures of a naked 14-year-old, that's child pornography.
Correct.
But because it was a deep fake, it was not considered child porn because it was an
Uh,
artificial image. Uh, and so there was no remedy, and so I drafted the Take It Down Act. Actually, Elliston is the reason for the Take It Down Act because she and her mom, they called my office. She's a Texan,
yeah.
and as a constituent, she complained, and she said, "Look, you're my senator. Can you help me?" And I want to credit my staff. I mean, we get a lot of calls from Texans,
Absolutely.
but this one they elevated to me and said, "Look what happened to this girl," and I said, "That's terrible. What can we do about it?" And we drafted the Take It Down Act. It does two things. Number one, it makes it a crime. It makes it a felony to share non-consensual intimate images, either real or deep fake. So it captured the hole in the law where deep fakes did not fall within the definition of child porn.
Okay.
But number two, it gives victims a legal right to remove that content from online. And you know, a second part of this story is when we introduced the bill, I invited Elliston and her mom to come to D.C. and another teenage girl from New Jersey, Francesca Mani,
Mm-hmm.
who was also 14, had the same thing happen to her within weeks of Elliston. Both of them
Wow.
were very close to the same time. Virtually the identical thing happened to both of them. And I was sitting talking with Elliston and her mom, and this was 9 months after the incident happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked her, I said, "What happened to the pictures?" And she said, "Well, it is the most frustrating thing. They're still up." And Elliston's mom said she had called Snapchat over and over and over again. She'd emailed and just ran into a brick wall, went nowhere. And I said, "That's ridiculous." I turned to my staff. I said, "I want you to get the CEO of Snapchat on the phone today.
Yeah.
I want those pictures down today." Within 2 hours, they pulled them down.
Mm.
But you know what? It shouldn't take a sitting U.S. senator
Mm-hmm.
making a phone call to get action. And so what the Take It Down Act does is it creates a legal right. If you are a victim and you notify a tech platform, you have on your platform images of me. They are non-consensual intimate
Mm-hmm.
images. You do not have my permission. The tech platform has now a federal legal obligation to take that garbage down, and it's about empowering the victims
Yes.
to remove this violating material from online.
Yeah, it's incredible how this did get elevated to you because, like you said, you get calls and you have to really see what I don't say what's real and what's not real, but what makes the most difference from your position as a U.S. senator. This Take It Down Act not only did it was it a Take It Down Act in the state of Texas, but as you brought it here to Washington, it became a bipartisan topic, which, as we know, is kind of hard to work through that on certain other areas. And so, can you just talk a little bit
Yeah,
about how bipartisan this was
sure.
and
So
is?
I teamed up with Amy Klobuchar, a Democrat from Minnesota, and Amy and I are friends. We've worked together on a lot of matters, and so we drafted it together. We introduced it together, and last year she and I passed it through the Senate, and we got it passed unanimously, 100 to nothing.
Okay.
Unfortunately, last year we did not succeed in getting it through the House. The House did not take it up, and so it didn't become law. And then this year, with the new Trump administration,
Mm-hmm.
we had a really beneficial development, which is the First Lady Melania Trump heard about it, and she got very interested in it.
Yeah.
And so the First Lady reached out and called me and said, "Hey, can I help? This is an important topic. I want to help." And look, obviously, the First Lady being engaged is really beneficial.
Yeah.
So I invited Melania to come to the Capitol, and we did a roundtable. And we did a roundtable. I invited Elliston was there, Francesca was there, invited a number of victims to come and just share their story, and for the First Lady to hear it. But I also invited the Speaker of the House and the Majority Leader of the House and the relevant committee chairman to all come. And the First Lady asked them, "Will you move this through the House?" And they committed on the spot, "Absolutely, we will."
Awesome.
And so Melania's involvement really helped elevate it. There was never meaningful opposition to it in the
Mm-hmm.
House. It was just a question of there are lots of competing priorities, and so it's hard to get floor time.
Yeah.
And so when the First Lady leaned in, House leadership committed, "We'll move it." And so the Senate passed it, the House passed it, and then President Trump signed it. And I'll tell you, so there was a big signing ceremony in the
Mm-hmm.
Rose Garden, and many of the victims, both Elliston and Francesca, came to the signing. And it's actually very cool because the president signed the bill, and then he handed it to Melania,
Uh-huh.
and she signed it.
Oh
And
wow.
I suspect, I don't know this for a fact, but I feel pretty confident, it's the only bill in history that's been signed by the First Lady. In fact, some of the folks in my office said, "Well, wait, does that like does that imperil its legality? I said, no, look, as long as the law is signed by the president, anyone else can sign it, and it doesn't make it not a law.
Right.
But she, with the signing, so there's, if you walk in to the entrance of the White House, one of the entrances of the
Mm-hmm.
White House, there's a whole wall of pictures, and the picture right by the front door is a picture of Melania signing the Take It Down Act.
Incredible. Yeah, that is that so that scene, watching that ceremony in the Rose Garden, seeing not only President Trump sign that, making that a federal law, as well as First Lady Melania, and then seeing you and Elliston and others, and it was a beautiful day, and
Yes, it was.
it was very fitting for that type of ceremony to happen. So if somebody feels like they have been taken advantage of, that the Take It Down Act or Take It Down law impacts them in some sort of way, what should they do?
Well, if there's a non-consensual intimate image of you that has been posted, whether real or a deep fake,
Okay.
number one, anyone who creates that image or posts that image has committed a crime, and they can be prosecuted federally. It's a felony.
Okay.
But number two, if you're the victim, you can contact whatever platform, if it's Facebook, if it's X, whatever it's on,
Mm-hmm.
you can contact them and notify them, this is me,
Mm-hmm.
it's an intimate image, and you do not have my consent. And under the law, they have 48 hours to remove the image. And what we did, it was a clever idea one of the lawyers on my staff came up with. So there's an existing legal mechanism from another law that's called the Digital Millennium Copyright Act.
Okay.
And that's been law for a long time. And what it provides is it concerns copyrighted and trademark material. So
Okay.
if you tweet out a song from The Lion King,
Mm-hmm.
they'll pull that down within hours. You can't send it out.
Yeah.
So every tech platform has an office that's called a notice and takedown office. And
Okay.
and if you notify them, hey, that's trademark, that's copyrighted, they'll pull it down. We use this identical enforcement mechanism. And,
Okay.
and we said, all right, we're going to use that same notice and takedown. You notify them, they have a legal obligation to take it down. And so this empowers you to be able to remove these images online.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for all that you do, for sitting down with us. And we would love, as an organization, to present to you our 2025 Voice of the Year award, which last year Elliston got, and the year prior Tyrus got. And so, Senator Ted Cruz, thank you so much for all the work you do, not just for Texans, but for all of us Americans.
Well, it's truly a privilege, and thank you again for giving the voice to people who so often feel voiceless, because it is powerful. And when you empower people, it gives them the ability to take their lives back.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Senator Ted Cruz, Voice of the Year recipient, Senator of the great state of Texas. Join us on another episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. And again, please share, like, follow, subscribe, give us a thumbs up. And until next time, please be a voice for you or somebody in need. Great.
Fantastic.
Thank
Thank you.
you.